Queen Marie de' Medici, wife of King Henri IV and mother of King Louis XIII. After her husband's death, she became the regent during the minority of her son. Marie de' Medici was a noblewoman born on April 26, 1575, in Florence, Italy. She belonged to the Medici family, one of the most famous and influential noble families in Italy at that time. The Medici family originated from Florence, Italy. They were a wealthy and influential noble family in Europe during the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. They were known as patrons of art, literature, and science, and supported renowned artists and scientists such as Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Galileo Galilei. Additionally, the Medici family played a significant role in the governance of Florence and established their own dynastic rule in the city. In 1600, Marie de' Medici married King Henri IV of France. The marriage was part of a political agreement aimed at strengthening the relationship between the Medici family from Florence, Italy, and the Valois dynasty, the ruling family of France at that time. At that time, France was one of the most powerful countries in Europe, while the Medici family held significant influence in Italy. To strengthen their political position and secure an alliance with France, the Medici family agreed to marry Marie de' Medici to King Henri IV. One of the main reasons why this marriage was significant was to end the wars of religion in France, which had been raging for decades between Catholics and Protestants. King Henri IV was a Protestant ruler governing a predominantly Catholic nation, and his marriage to Marie, a Catholic, was intended to bring peace and reconciliation between the two religions. The marriage between Marie de' Medici and King Henri IV was seen as a political alliance that united two influential powers, the Medici family and the Valois dynasty, to support and strengthen their positions in European politics. The marriage also had important implications for the dynasty. Marie de' Medici became the Queen of France, and as the wife of the king, she played a crucial role in producing an heir. Their son, Louis XIII, succeeded his father as king and continued the Bourbon dynasty in France. After her husband, King Henri IV, was assassinated in 1610, their underage son, King Louis XIII, succeeded him as the King of France. As Louis was too young to rule independently, his mother, Queen Marie de' Medici, acted as the regent and governed on behalf of her son. As the regent, Marie de' Medici acted as the guardian for King Louis XIII, who was still very young at the time. She had full responsibility for managing the government and making decisions on behalf of her son. Despite her high position, important decisions were still made in the name of the king, and Marie had to operate with consideration for the interests of the state and her son. However, her regency also faced challenges. During her regency, Queen Marie de' Medici became embroiled in complex political conflicts at the French court. One of the prominent conflicts was with Chief Minister Concini, who was previously her ally and advisor but later dominated government policies and held a strong position at the court. At the beginning of her regency, Marie de' Medici relied on Concini for advice and support in managing the government on behalf of her young son, King Louis XIII. Concini was a loyal follower of the Queen and held a powerful position at the court. Over time, Concini began to dominate government policies and took control of various aspects of governance. He used his position to amass wealth and power, which led to tensions between Marie and some influential groups at the court. During her regency, Concini was involved in some controversial political decisions that were not approved by some members of the court. Some of his policies were seen as detrimental to the state's interests and drew criticism from nobles and other court members. Tensions between Queen Marie de' Medici and Chief Minister Concini escalated over time. Some nobles and court members dissatisfied with Concini's policies conspired against him and sought ways to reduce his influence. The relationship between King Louis XIII and his mother became strained due to disagreements over policies and leadership. Queen Marie de' Medici tended to support influential groups at the court that Louis did not favor, including Chief Minister Concini. In 1617, King Louis XIII assumed full control of the French government when he reached adulthood, at around 16 years old. He decided to dismiss his mother from power as the regent due to his dissatisfaction with Marie's governance and political interference. Meanwhile, Concini was arrested and accused of conspiring against the king. On April 24, 1617, he was executed in the streets of Paris under the orders of King Louis XIII. After Queen Marie de' Medici was forced to step away from governance, she remained in France, but her relationship with her son was not always harmonious. Although King Louis XIII took direct control of the government, he did not completely remove his mother's influence, and Marie de' Medici continued to have a role as a mother and a member of the French royal family. Queen Marie de' Medici passed away on July 3, 1642, at the Château de Colombes near Paris, France. She was buried at the Basilica of Saint-Denis near Paris. While her regency was marked by political conflicts, she was also known for her support of French art and culture.